Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to Lineup Predictions here at the Magpie Channel TV for Newcastle United's game against Chelsea on Sunday. 2 o'clock kickoff live on Sky Sports. Going to be an interesting game, this one. Going to be Newcastle's hardest game by a mile, I think. Well, on this unbeaten run, 9 games now unbeaten under Eddie Howe in the Premier League, which has taken us up to 14th in the Premier League, 10 points above the drop zone now, which is mental to think that we didn't win a single game in our first 14 games in the Premier League. But looking at it now, we've taken 21 points out of the last 9. This 9-game unbeaten run accumulating 21 points, which now only has with 3 points off 11th. We're creeping towards that top 10. Like, we shouldn't be looking behind it anymore, but that's just where we are. And it's it's mental to think like that we've getting this far. We're 4 points above our nearest rivals behind us, which is Brentford in 15th, 4 points ahead of them with a game in hand as well. So credit to Eddie Howe, who's won Premier League Manager of the Month today as well. Incredible achievement for him. So yeah, let's get into it. See who the opposition is. We're just going to go into them first, which is Chelsea, 3rd in the Premier League. And we're not going to get into any of that political bollocks. Like, we'll just leave that on the table for today, will we? Just pop a pin in that one. We can get to the game. If you've got a ticket, you can still go, which is brilliant news for us. And for you, that's going. Enjoy the journey if you are going down. So yeah, 3rd place in the league, quite rooted in that 3rd place spot. Just been looking at where they are, who's above, who's below. 8 points ahead of those behind them, which is Arsenal in 4th. So got an 8-point lead on that. So it looks like the top 4's secured for them for this season. But they are trailing Liverpool in 2nd by 7 points. So looks like 3rd place is theirs to lose. Whether they go up or down is to be seen. But I think they'll finish in 3rd. I think that's a respectable place for Chelsea, probably where I would have predicted them to finish at the start of the season, to be honest, behind City and Liverpool. I think that's was pretty much a given, really. But they're on a pretty decent run themselves. They are 5 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Their last loss coming to Man City, which isn't really too much to be grumbled at. I was looking at the last loss before that. I think that was West Ham in December. So only 1 loss since December, really. In most competitions as well, having a look at all competitions, they've played quite a few. They're in Europe, in the FA Cup. Just lost on penalties to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. Was it Liverpool? Or was it? Am I losing my mind? I just made that up. Let's just double check that so I'm not talking absolute pure waffle. It was Liverpool, wasn't it? 11-10 to Liverpool. For some reason, I was thinking it was Man City. I was just thinking, never mind. So pretty good record all around since December. Only a couple of losses. 1 to Man City, 1 to Liverpool in the Cup. And other than that, pretty decent all round. A big win last night. They played just as we did. We beat... why am I losing my mind? Yeah, who did we beat last night? Southampton. Hasenhüttl, Southampton. How can I forget about Ralph Hasenhüttl? Beat them on the road 2-1. They beat Norwich 3-1. It's not bad, really, though. Like, that done us a favour. Beating Norwich, they're probably rooted. I think Norwich are going to finish bottom of the league. That's probably around about where I would have predicted them to finish as well. Beat Burnley the game before that. Palace the game before that. So haven't really had too much of a hard run in. They did beat Spurs, who are an in-and-out team at the moment, who we do have after the little bit of a break. Got Everton on Thursday. Then about a 14-day break where Eddie Howe's planned on taking the boys abroad. And then we're away again to Spurs. So Burnley, Norwich, Palace and Spurs are the 4 teams that they've beat on their 5-game unbeaten spell. The other was a 1-1 draw at Brighton. And then prior to that was the defeat against Man City. We haven't had a win at the... But in fact, we haven't even had a point, as much as a point, at Stamford Bridge since May 2012, where Papi Cisse just went absolute apeshit and just scored world-class goals for fun. But yeah, since then, we've played 8 times at the Bridge and not won once. We did lose to Chelsea as well earlier on this season, a 3-0 defeat to Graham Jones's Mags. It was kind of in between that. I think that was one of the 3 games that Graham Jones took hold of It was the only loss as well. His other 2 out of his three games were draws. That was the only game that he got beat, but it was an awful game. I remember being there, wanting to walk out, to be honest. The effort, and it was a bad game. It was Brucey-esque, that one was. So yeah, hopefully Eddie Howe can get a little bit of revenge on that one, and hopefully get at least a point on the board, keep the unbeaten run alive, just to take that first point at the Bridge since 2012. Eddie Howe has gone 3 out of his last 5 games at Stamford Bridge with wins. The other 3 wins, 2 losses, which is a pretty good record considering that was a Bournemouth team. You wouldn't have, like I said, we haven't won at Stamford Bridge since 2012. Bournemouth have gotten 3 wins since then. So very well done to Eddie Howe. Credit to you for that achievement. Hopefully we can bring that in. Like I say, I think a point just to keep our unbeaten run alive, keep them points on the board coming, keep it away from that relegation zone. Big task, as I say. This probably is going to be our hardest game in this run-in. I think the unbeaten run might have started with a draw at Man United, was it? And withdrew to West Ham, creeping into the top 4. I think they probably are our hardest games on paper. All the other games are kind of like bottom half teams that we've taken points off of. So Chelsea is going to be the biggest task out of our last 9-10 games. So yeah, bring it on. Let's see what happens. Not really too much information though, as we both did play just last night. So Thomas Tuchel and Eddie Howe's press conferences were extremely brief. Didn't really get too much out of them. They didn't do it today as they normally would. Friday is the normal day for a press conference and build up to a weekend's game, but we didn't really get one. So I'm only kind of going off what I've heard, kind of guesswork really. Christian Pulisic was sick last night, missed the Norwich game with an illness, and Cesar Azpilicueta came off at halftime with a similar kind of stomach bug as well. So them two may be missing. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Other than that, not really too much injury or absent front for Chelsea. But for Newcastle, remaining on the sickness side of things, Alan Saint-Maximin was completely omitted from that squad last night at Southampton due to a sickness bug. He was going to be a late call due to the injury that he's on the way back from. Played about 30-35 minutes last week at home to Brighton. But Eddie Howe says he's still not 100% fit. So we wanted to keep his fitness up. So maybe thought that he might be benched and then brought on again for another 20-30 minutes towards the end. But yeah, an illness has kept Saint-Maximin out, and an injury to Joe Linton, which was last minute. We didn't see that one coming. I can't remember what the report said on Joe Linton. I think it was maybe a thigh injury or something like that. But Eddie Howe says everyone else is in contention. He says we need to let the dust settle and see how we are physically after, obviously, last night's game. So we've got 2 games in the space of 3-4 days. Obviously, Brighton last week, and we've got Everton next Thursday. So 4 games in the space of about 12 days. It's a lot to ask for. It's a big fixture. So Eddie says we need to let the dust settle, see how we are physically. Understandably, says there are some tired bodies. Some with a bit of cramp, and that was Bruno. He went off after 67 minutes on the board, obviously getting his first goal as well. Fabian Shaw took a knock, and Emil Kraft looked injured as well. He came off late on, about the 91st minute for Javier Manquillo. So we need to keep an eye on them guys, see what's happening. I think it maybe has just been crammed with Kraft, so hopefully they can shake that off. And not really too sure what the knock Fabian Shaw took is. As I say, there's not really been too much information. But he did say that we are going to have to go into this game and be physically good against Chelsea, because they are a physical side themselves, so we need to match their physicality on the field. And because of that, we might have to rotate because of the tired bodies and the fatigue that is currently in the squad. But we'll see and take it on an individual basis. So everybody's going to have to be assessed and see how things go in terms of the game on Sunday. That is about it. Joe Linton, though, I will mention, like I said, we don't really know the extent of the injury, not even sure what it is. I think I heard that it might have been a thigh injury. You might be able to let me know in the comments what it was. But he did travel with the squad. He was seen in that post-match victory picture in the dressing room at the end of the game. And he is with the squad. The entire squad is staying down south instead of coming back home, a little bit pointless, being in Southampton, then having a game in London for like 3 days later. So they are staying down south, training down there for 1 day pretty much. So Joe Linton is with them and training with the squad. And that is pretty much it. So going to go into my lineup prediction there then. And it's a bit of a guesswork, really, of course. I don't really know how much it's going to be. We are going to have to take it day by day. But if everybody comes through unscathed, if everybody that played that Southampton game are fit, then this is how I would line up. And I would keep it the same other than Emil Kraft. And we'll go through that. It's the other lads are pretty much undroppable. You look at that back four, Shaw, Burn and Target, absolutely sensational. You might want to look at it like we might not get that win, and it's not really too big of a deal, I don't think, if we don't get that win. Like, if a point on the board would be absolutely fantastic. But I think Everton along where we are in the league at the moment. So Eddie might be looking at it like Everton's a bigger game, kind of don't want to put all the eggs into that basket, but the rotation might be key. And especially with that knock to Fabian Shaw, we might see Lascelles take his place back into the team alongside Dan Burn. We'll have to see about that one. But with the knock that Emil Kraft's got and the fatigue that he's got, Manquillo's a very, very good replacement. I think I mentioned this in my previous lineup prediction for the Southampton game. I think that it was that out of the two, Manquillo is the better of the player. But Kraft's been decent. Like, I know that I probably say it every week that Kraft kind of acts as a bit of a scapegoat. Nobody really wants to see him in the starting lineup, but he's done all right for himself. Like, he has been really, really good for the last few weeks. He has been a bit of a key part in our unbeaten run, as much as some people don't like to admit that. He has been. But if he is fatigued, or if we do need to rotate the squad a little bit, then Manquillo probably is an upgrade when all said and done. So, yeah, I think Manquillo should start this game, like I say, with rotation in mind, with the knock that Kraft took in mind. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, that one. Like I said, it is a bit of an upgrade as well. So Manquillo to be the only one to change things if everybody else is fit. Like I say, Shaw might drop out. And Bruno as well. The only reason why I've kind of got him in is because I don't really want to put Sean Longstaff in, to be honest. That's going to be the next option if Joe Linton's out. My prediction for the Southampton game was that Joe Willock might be one of the ones rotated, as he went off quite late on in the Brighton game, holding his hamstring. But played the full game, as did Shelvey. But yeah, Bruno did only last 67 minutes with cramp. Sean Longstaff came on and was all right. So that is probably the direction that we are going to go if Bruno can't shake off his little injury. So yeah, obviously, that's what we want to happen, isn't it? So we would love Joe Linton to be fit and available, but he just isn't at the minute. So yeah, instead of putting Sean Longstaff in, I'd just really, really keep my fingers crossed that Bruno can shake off his little knock and get some game time, whether it's from the bench or from the starting 11. Hopefully from the starting 11, but yeah, we'll see about that one. And the same front three as well. Obviously, we don't really know about the extent of Maxi. What Eddie Howe did say before the Southampton game is that he wasn't 100% fit, and now got a little bit of a bug, got a little bit of a bout of sickness. So maybe bench at best for Maxi. We would love to see him be brought into the starting 11. I think that right-hand side was a little bit open. Maybe it's not the best between Kraft and Murphy, and I think I could have said the same for the Brighton game as well. While I was sat in the Gallagher for the Brighton game, a part of me was thinking, I don't know, I'm not a Brighton fan, and I've never seen it happen, but their key player, as he was last year, Tariq Lamptey, he was getting out on the right-hand side, on his right-hand side, or left. Target had him under wraps. Fraser was tracking back, doing well. We had Burn left-sided centre-back, Joe Linton left-sided centre-mid. Our left-hand side was on lock. But on the right-hand side, there was loads of space. I can't remember his name, the number 3, the Spanish lad with the kind of Colaccini type hair, David Luiz type. He was in acres of space. So I was thinking, like, why don't you switch him over? Like, I've never seen him play on the left, and I don't know if number 3 can play on the right either, but that would probably work well because there was plenty of space. So I think that's probably a good thing. If we are going to stick with Murphy, then Manquillo coming in, I say he is a bit of an upgrade. I think he is a bit tactically better, probably a little bit better going forward as well. without Sir Maximin, of course. Fraser would probably normally play on the right in that instance and Sir Maximin on the left. Yeah, I'm quite happy to stick with those lads. Fraser, another good game. Chris Wood finally breaking his duct and getting on the score sheet. Long may it continue. Don't want to drop him now. Of course, the only other option other than him is Dwight Gale, and you don't really fancy saying that, do you? So, yeah, keep Chris Wood in. Keep Fraser in. If we don't play Murphy, then obviously I doubt Sir Maximin's going to start. Hopefully he's fit enough to make the bench and get a 20, 30-minute run out at the end. But yeah, you're looking at Almiron. Yeah, not really too many options there to be buzzing about. Richie's back now, of course, which brings me onto the bench, and that's how I predict it looking. Kraft obviously dropping to the bench, hopefully depending on the injury, might not even make the bench, but hopefully he's in the matchday squad in some capacity. Lascelles, who may well take over from Shah, depending on his fitness levels. We've got Dummett and Richie there. Sean Longstaff, as mentioned, who may get a spot in the starting 11. Almiron, fingers crossed that Maxi can make the bench, and Dwight Gale as well. So there's my team there then, guys. Just let me know what you think in the comments below. Get your score prediction in and lineup prediction. I'm going with Dubravka in goal, a back four of Javier Manquillo, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, and Matt Target. Midfield three of Bruno Guimaraes, John Joe Shelby, I said Joe Linton, John Joe Shelby, and Joe Willock. Joe, and Joe, but Joe's not there because it's Bruno. Murphy, Wood, and Fraser as the front three. Score prediction, I'm going to be a bit over-ambitious and take a draw. I'm more than happy for a draw. 1-1, that's my score prediction. As long as we fight well, because, like I said, Chelsea are a fantastic team, doing very, very well in the league at the moment. And without a point there since 2012, a point would be more than welcome. 10 games unbeaten. Let's get that double figure. Christ knows when the last time we went 10 games unbeaten is. So, yeah, that's all I'm hoping for, really. Keep the unbeaten run alive. Another point on the board. More than happy with that. Hopefully keep some bodies fresh as well. Don't want to pick up any more injuries. Don't want any more cramp or fatigue going into Everton, which is a huge game. Puts them even further down into that relegation zone and keeps us out of it, keeps us climbing. Hopefully by this time next week, we'll be closer towards the top 10 than we will the bottom 3. So yeah, fingers crossed that happens. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to come back on Sunday afterwards for some post-match content. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and enjoy yourself.